Welcome to Investors Guide on ET Now. I'm glad you joined us this week. We have quite a show lined up for you today. My recommendation, first of all, would be for you to grab a pen and paper because you have a lot of advice coming up on the show this week, all of which you should be taking down. First thing to take down is our email ID. It's at the bottom of your screen. Remember, you can write to us whenever you need to about anything that has to do with your money. And this is what we're doing over the next half hour. We're going to first tell you how you should be reacting to a market like this one that's continuing to seesaw. We get recommendations from some of the biggest experts in the stock market. We'll also review the UTI Mastershare, India's oldest equity fund. Tell you if you should be investing in it. And of course, Subhash Lakotia is back on the show this week to answer your questions on tax. All of that coming up later on the show. Let me first introduce Dhirendra Kumar, the CEO of Value Research and our in-house mutual fund expert, who joins us on the show every week. Dhirendra, thank you so much for joining us on Investors Guide. Let's get straight to our portfolio versus portfolio questions. Aved Rastogi has written in Dhirendra. He tells us he's 31 years old with an annual income of 15 lakh rupees. And his aim is to have 4 or 5 crore rupees in his bank account when he retires. And he's given himself a time horizon of 15 to 20 years as well. So he's investing 15,000 rupees a month, and he sent us a list of funds that he's looking at right now. The ICICI Prudential Focus Blue Chip, UTI Dividend Yield, UTI Opportunities, HDFC Midcap Opportunities, and HDFC Prudence. Now, first of all, I don't think 15,000 rupees a month is going to be enough from it. You probably have to increase that amount. But looking at his fund selections, there, the midcap and a balanced fund in the same portfolio, do you think that makes sense?
Yes, surely. In fact, his selection of fund is excellent. But some of it may be, unnecessarily complementary. The UTI, the two UTI fund which he has chosen, it has the least of commonality, so it can well be part of his portfolio. But HDFC Midcap Opportunity and HDFC Prudence, I really wonder that, what is the role of a balanced fund which will have a 35% fixed income allocation for such a long-term portfolio, because he will have his, fixed income elsewhere in the sense that he'll have his PF deduction. So I think, it requires a little more fine-tuning. No role of a balanced fund, at least for the next 10 years of his 15 years. I would say that, instead of this HDFC Midcap Opportunity or HDFC Prudence, he should invest in HDFC Equity, which will be a more desirable choice for these 15 years.
All right. So, Amit, remember that, like Dhirendra said, your fund selection seems to be fine. You need to increase that contribution of 15,000 rupees to higher if you want to achieve that target. Instead of HDFC Midcap Opportunities and Prudence, use HDFC Equity instead. And you can use 2 separate term covers, because as you get older, your need for that term cover will come down, and then you can stop paying or discontinue one and keep the other one going to bring down your term cover automatically. Now, finally, your last question was, should you buy an online term plan or go through an agent? Remember, the term plans that are currently being sold online are remarkably cheaper than the ones that you buy through an agent because of the money you save on that transaction and the agent's commission. But if you buy a policy online, remember that they don't come with any of the riders that policies normally have. So you need to decide which of the two you want. They're both similarly reliable, so there's no difference between the two. Good luck with those investments. Write back to us if you need any more help. Let's move on now to our hold or sell segment. Well, YS Bhaskar has written in from Hyderabad. He says he's invested in a few funds with an SIP of 1,000 rupees per month in each fund. He wants to know if these funds make sense, if his investments are on track. The first of his portfolio, Dhirendra, is the HDFC Core and Satellite Fund. Would you recommend he continue investing?
It's a decent fund, and he might continue investing.
The HDFC Premier Multi-Cap Fund is the next one on his list. These are not the big names from that fund house. So would you recommend you continue investing in this one as well?
Yeah, I would say that, these two are not the finest funds from the fund house, but they're not disappointing fund either. I would still call them above average on occasion. So, yes, he can continue, but he just might, do without the two. Maybe just Premier Multi-Cap, just having another fund of an above average kind, but two of them does not necessarily mean any additional benefit.
Keep the multi-cap fund and discontinue the core satellite fund. The next one is HDFC Tax Saver. One of the stronger tax savers. Continue investing at least for this year?
Yeah, sure, certainly. It is among the good tax saving fund, and it has remained good for a long period of time. Yes, continue investing in this one too.
Right, Franklin India Blue Chip Fund. Does it fit in with the rest of the portfolio? This is a good performer, but would you recommend you continue investing?
Yes, it is an outstanding large cap fund. It did not do well about 4 years back for a prolonged period of time, but of late, I think it is an outstanding large cap fund, which we keep recommending on occasion. Yes, he should continue investing.
Right, 4 funds coming up from the Reliance Fund House. Reliance Growth Fund is the first on that list. Continue investing?
I'm getting increasingly apprehensive about this fund. 3.5, 4 years. It has been an average or below average fund. It is in the bottom 40% of the universe of the large and mid cap fund category. Until 2007, it was an outstanding fund. I would suggest him to move his money from Reliance Growth.
Let's tell you Reliance Growth. We're going to take the next 3 funds together. Reliance Equity, Reliance Equity Advantage, Reliance Equity Opportunities. Now, these 3 funds, what is the overlap between the 3, Dhiren? Is it necessary for him to have all 3 in his portfolio?
No, they are different funds. Reliance Equity Opportunity is very distinct. Reliance Equity is a large cap fund which can also hedge its portfolio, and Reliance Equity Advantage is just another equity fund. Nothing unusual about it. So I would say that if I have to choose one Reliance fund, I would go for Reliance Equity Opportunity Fund. Rest of the fund, they don't have a compelling case for themselves. Either they are average or very disappointing funds. So I would discontinue all other 3 equity fund of Reliance and move all the money to Reliance Equity Opportunity Fund or elsewhere.
All right, Bhaskar, that's the advice that's going out to you. Remember, you can write back to us if you have any more questions about your investments. Dhiren, we have a question that's coming from Kapil Madan. He tells us he'd like to invest 1.5 lakh rupees. Now, he has a high risk aversion. He doesn't want all of that money going into equity, but he does want an annual return of 18 to 20%, which is a high expectation as well. So he wants you to tell him what portfolio or what fund would suit him best for that return. Now, Kapil hasn't told us what his time horizon is or for how long he can put that money away. So like we do on this show, we're going to recommend and assume, Kapil, that you have about 5 years and you're not going to touch that money for 5 years. So assuming a 5-year horizon, Dhiren, would you recommend a balanced fund for someone like Kapil?
Yeah, I think he can do without building a portfolio and keep it simple. Buy a balanced fund, maybe just one balanced fund. And at most, not invest at one go, not invest tomorrow. But all he should do is, his 1.5 lakh rupee, maybe spread it over the next 6 months, 30,000 rupees a month. 25,000 rupees a month over the next 6 months, and that's about it. Of course, it assumes that next 5 years he does not require that money, and if not 18 to 20%, he will get, maybe closer. It shouldn't be disappointing.
All right, Kapil, so remember, you can write back to us if you need any other advice with your investments. Coming up after the break, Dhirendra Kumar is going to tell us if you should invest in UTI Mastershare, India's oldest equity fund. And we'll also find out from the biggest minds in the market where you should be putting your equity investments right now. That's after the break. So